The next morning, Kevin's phone buzzed. A payment alert. He blinked twice. Yes, he shouted, finally I don't cash out. After the ritual Boba did, Kevin cashed out $100 million. But he will finish it in 7 days. He laughed. Then cried. Then laughed again. Kevin was no longer the poor boy from the ghetto. He was now the newest Yahoo boy in town, and the clock had already started ticking. In the bustling city of Onitsha, where the streets never really sleep and the markets hum with life, lived a young man named Kevin. He wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. He didn't drive the latest cars or throw money around like confetti. He was just Kevin. A boy from a poor home with dreams bigger than his pocket. His father was a struggling carpenter who often went days without work, and his mother sold vegetables by the roadside. School was supposed to be Kevin's ticket out of poverty. But school, like life, wasn't fair. He wore worn-out shoes, carried a torn school bag, and relied on second-hand books. Every day, his poverty walked into class before him and stayed long after he had gone home. But Kevin was smart. Really smart. He always had the highest scores, answered the hardest questions, and teachers praised him constantly. Still, that never seemed to matter when it came to respect, especially not from the girls in school. Girls like Amanda, Precious, and Nancy would roll their eyes when he tried to greet them. They didn't care about intelligence or kindness. They wanted cars, iPhones, loud weekend parties, and boys who had money to burn. Boys like Chiboy. Chiboy was the Pablo of the school. If wealth was a crown, he wore it with pride. Gold chains, designer clothes, perfumes that filled the air long after he passed, it was like money followed him. He would drive into school with a different car almost every week, blasting music from tinted windows. Teachers looked the other way. Students cheered him like a celebrity. And the girls? They adored him. Kevin watched all this in silence. He wasn't jealous, at least not at first. He kept telling himself that hard work would eventually pay. But the whispers grew louder. The laughter stung deeper. One day, during lunch break, he tried to talk to Nancy. She looked him over like a mosquito on her plate and said, "You. Abeg no embarrass me. You fit buy ordinary 100 Nigerian nairas airtime for me. Abeg if you no get money hide your face." The laughter that followed didn't stop ringing in Kevin's ears. He walked home that day with his head bowed and thoughts storming in his mind. That night, he sat outside, staring into the sky, wondering if maybe, just maybe, life only respected the rich. The next morning, as he walked into class, he noticed something unusual. Chiboy was watching him. Not the usual arrogant glance, but a deliberate, curious stare. After school, Chiboy approached him near the back gate, leaning against his sleek, black Benz. "You be Kevin, right?" Chiboy asked. Kevin nodded, unsure where this was going. "I dey observe you. You sabi book, but book no dey bring money for this country. Come make we talk." Curious and cautious, Kevin followed him. They drove to an apartment in GRA, where everything smelled of money. Expensive carpets. Giant flat screen. A fridge stocked with foreign drinks. Kevin had never seen a place like that before. "You want this life?" Chiboy asked, taking a seat. Kevin nodded slowly. "Then you go do wetin I do. But make I warn you, this no be joke." Chiboy leaned forward. "Real money dey for internet hustle alone. But he get Baba. Now him give me the oil way they run this show. He get ritual way you go do. But the condition dey simple, Baba go run your client go pay no worry. But you must finish in 7 days. If you no fit, no death. Kevin's heart skipped. Finish all the money. In 7 days. Chiboy smiled darkly. Yes. Because the money no be for saving. It's money you scam for the white people, you no go use build life. Just chop Enjoy. After 7 days, if you survive, you go get more cash out, you go scam more people and you go become biggest Pablo in town like me. If you no survive, well, you go no. Kevin sat there, frozen. Something inside him screamed run. But another voice whispered louder, this is your chance. No more mocking. No more hunger. No more shame. You dey game? Chiboy asked again. Kevin looked up slowly. I dey game. That night, Kevin couldn't sleep. His mind replayed every moment, Chiboy's words, the wealth, the condition. But the thought of walking into school and seeing Amanda smile at him instead of sneering, the image of his mother resting instead of sweating by the roadside, those thoughts pushed away his fears. 2 days later, Chiboy drove him deep into the outskirts of Onitsha. The air was thick. The trees whispered. They arrived at a small, hidden shrine surrounded by red cloth and animal skulls. A man stepped out, tall, dark, with tribal marks and eyes that held no warmth. This was Baba. Without a word, Baba led Kevin inside. The walls were covered in charms, feathers, and strange symbols. A clay pot boiled something dark over a fire, though there was no flame. You came willingly? Baba asked, his voice like gravel. Kevin nodded. Then strip. Remove all fear. What you seek is not free. Baba chanted in a tongue Kevin couldn't understand. He marked Kevin's chest with red chalk, cut his palm, and dropped blood into the boiling pot. 7 days, Baba said. You will wake up a rich man. But remember, if by the 7th night, a single naira remains, your soul will be mine. Kevin trembled. Do not test the gods, Baba warned. As they left, Chiboy gave Kevin a hard slap on the back. Welcome to the brotherhood. Just don't be foolish with your 7 days. The next morning, Kevin's phone buzzed. A payment alert. He blinked twice. Yes, he shouted, finally I done cash out. After the ritual Baba did. Kevin cashed out $100 million. But he will finish it in 7 days. He laughed. Then cried. Then laughed again. Kevin was no longer the poor boy from the ghetto. He was now the newest Yahoo boy in town, and the clock had already started ticking. Kevin couldn't stop staring at the payment alert. $100 million. The Brazil woman done finally pay, he said smiling softly. The numbers looked fake. Like a dream wearing a suit. But it was real. He refreshed the app. Still there. He screamed. Not out of fear this time, but out of joy. He jumped, laughed, rolled on the floor, and hugged himself like someone who had just won a lottery. Kevin wasn't poor anymore. The Kevin who people mocked was gone. This was a new version, Kevin, Heavy Pablo. The first thing he did was switch off his phone. He didn't want random family members or schoolmates suddenly calling him brother. He needed space to think. Space to plan. Chiboy had warned him, spend the money. Don't save. Don't invest. Just finish it all in 7 days. It sounded simple. How hard could it be to waste money in a country where everything was expensive? By 10 a.m., he was already in a boutique at ShopRite. He bought clothes, shirts, trousers, shoes, watches. Branded things. Designer things. No price tag scared him anymore. From there, he moved to a car dealership. The first car that caught his eye was a red Benz. He bought it. Paid in cash. No questions asked. By noon, Kevin pulled up in front of the school gate like a boss. He wore dark shades, held his keys like a trophy, and leaned against the Benz like a celebrity waiting for applause. And oh, did they applaud. Boys cheered. Girls gasped. Even teachers paused. Amanda almost fainted. Nancy whispered to Precious, "He wasn't like this yesterday." Kevin smiled. For once, the word felt right. He took the girls to lunch, expensive lunch. Bought them iPhones. Yes, 3 iPhones in one afternoon. He didn't even blink. By the evening, they were in a club in Oka Road. He bought drinks, popped champagne, and gave out bundles of cash. He didn't even like alcohol, but he liked the feeling of power. The feeling of being the center of attention. No one asked if he passed WAEC. No one cared where he lived. He had money, and that was all that mattered. Day 1 ended with $85 million left. Kevin thought, this will be easy. Day 2 came, and he went even harder. He gave his mother 10 million Nigerian nairas and told her to stop selling vegetables. She cried, thanking God over and over. His father. Speechless. He donated 5 million Nigerian nairas to his church. The pastor called him forward and laid hands on him, not knowing the money was soaked in blood. He paid off debts for his cousins he used to avoid. He gave his street boys 3 million Nigerian nairas to share among themselves. Make una enjoy, he said. He rented an apartment in the most expensive part of town and hired a chef, a cleaner, and a driver. He even booked a private trip to Lagos. 2 nights in Lekki. 2 nights of madness. Parties, girls, drinks. Amanda was with him the entire time, calling him baby, feeding him shrimp by the pool. But the strange thing was, even after all that spending, the money didn't drop as fast as it should. Day 2 ended with $70 million left. Kevin started to panic. How, he asked himself. I spent over $40 million in 2 days. Day 3, he met with Chiboy again. This thing no day finish, Kevin said. Chiboy laughed dryly. I tell you say no be ordinary money. The money go test your greed. If you know they wise, you go use 7 days till they calculate. Kevin looked worried. So how did you survive it? Chiboy didn't answer immediately. He looked away. Let's just say. I lost something. But I survived. Kevin didn't like that answer. But he had no time to think deeply. He had only 4 days left. Day 4, Kevin went wild. He threw a money rain party in a hotel. Invited everybody from school. Boys, girls, random people. There was a DJ, dancers, fireworks. He paid influencers to post him on Instagram and TikTok. Who be this new big Pablo? One caption read. He gave Henry, a classmate who once insulted him, 500,000 Nigerian nairas just to watch him say thank you on camera. But the nightmares began that night. Kevin was lying in bed when he heard footsteps. He turned. Nobody. He slept again and dreamt of fire. Fire chasing him. A figure wearing red beads, chanting. He woke up sweating. It was only 3:13 a.m. By morning, he had a fever. His hands shook slightly, and he had a nosebleed that wouldn't stop. The doctor said it was stress. Kevin didn't tell him the truth. How could he? Day 5. He kept spending. Bought a motorcycle he didn't need. Booked Amanda and Precious a trip to Dubai. Paid full rent for 3 families in his area. Still, $31 million remained. Kevin cried. His friends noticed something was wrong. He laughed too loudly, talked too fast, and flinched at shadows. David, his old friend, finally cornered him. Kevin, talk to me. Wetin dey happen? You know they okay. Kevin hesitated. Then he broke down. He told David everything. The ritual. The boba. The 7 days. The condition. The money that wouldn't end. David listened in silence. Guy, you need help. Spiritual help. Kevin nodded, tears in his eyes. But who go fit help me? David thought for a moment. My cousin they do deliverance for church. Maybe we go try. You never reached day 7. Kevin agreed. But just then, the lights went out. His phone rang by itself. He picked it. Silence. Then a deep voice whispered, "You can run, but you cannot hide. Finish the money, or die." Kevin threw the phone across the room. His nose bled again. The air felt heavier now. The walls seemed to move. The countdown was getting louder, and he was running out of time. Kevin didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. The whispers wouldn't let him. Shadows moved even when the lights were on. The corners of the room felt darker than usual, as if something was watching, waiting. The red mark Boba had drawn on his chest now burned like fire. His skin peeled slightly around it, forming a strange scar he couldn't explain. He lay in bed, eyes wide open, gripping his bedsheet like a lifeline. At 2 a.m., he saw a black crow perch on his window. It stared at him. Unblinking. Kevin threw a shoe at it. It didn't move. He turned off the lights and buried his head under his pillow. By morning, his face was pale. He looked older, like someone who had seen war. David knocked and entered with urgency. You dey ready? My cousin pastor dey wait for us. Kevin nodded weakly. He threw on a hoodie and shades, trying to hide his face, but his hands were still trembling. The drive to the church was quiet. Kevin didn't speak. David just prayed under his breath. The church was small but intense. A handful of people were already praying, some rolling on the floor, some speaking in tongues. Kevin sat at the back, sweating. The pastor arrived. A man in her 40s. Her eyes were sharp, like she could see through skin and soul. You're the boy, he said. Kevin nodded. He didn't waste time. He laid hands on him and began to pray. At first, nothing happened. Then suddenly, Kevin let out a scream so loud, everyone turned. He fell to the ground, twisting, shaking, his eyes rolled back. His lips moved, but it wasn't his voice. It was deeper. Darker. You cannot save him, the voice growled. He is already ours. The pastor shouted louder, quoting scripture. Others joined in. Kevin screamed again and again until finally he lay still, panting, eyes open. The church was silent. Kevin slowly sat up. "I saw something," he whispered. Everyone leaned in. "I saw people, boys, some of them I know. They were rich, but chained. Their hands were filled with gold, but their feet were burning. They were crying, but no one could hear them. And a voice kept saying, 'Enjoy now, pay later.'" The pastor looked at David. "You must bring him back tomorrow. He's not free yet. The spirit is stubborn. But there's still time." Kevin left feeling lighter, but not free. The crow was still on his window when he returned. Day 6. Kevin had $22 million left. He didn't want to spend it anymore. He didn't want to party, or buy anything. But he had no choice. He had to finish the money, or die. So, he started again. He walked into a random street in town and began giving strangers Nigerian naira 1,000,000 each. Mothers screamed. Boys danced. Some people thought he was mad. He paid for 10 children's surgeries at a hospital. Bought 1,000 bags of rice and shared them at an orphanage. People praised him. Called him angel. Messiah. Helper. But the money remained stubborn. $10 million left. The closer he got to the end, the harder the money held on. Like a curse that refused to let go. That night, he returned to the church. The pastor was waiting. "This is your final battle," he said. They began to pray again. This time, it was wilder. Thunderous. Kevin screamed until his voice cracked. He saw the figure from his dreams, Baba, standing in a burning forest. "You broke the rule," Baba growled. "You gave to the poor. That is not allowed." Kevin shouted, "I don't want the money. Take it. Just leave me." But Baba only laughed. "Too late. You ate the fruit. Now the tree must grow inside you." Then a hand touched Kevin in the dream. He turned. It was his mother. But her eyes were white. Her voice echoed strangely. "You failed us." Kevin woke up on the church floor, soaked in sweat. His shirt was torn. His fingers were bleeding. The pastor looked worried. "You must go home. And destroy anything that connects you to Baba. Now." Kevin ran home. Searched everywhere. Then he remembered the red beads Chiboy had given him after the first ritual. They were in his drawer. He grabbed them and threw them into a fire. The fire screamed. Yes. It screamed. Then it went out. The entire apartment went dark. His phone turned off on its own. Silence swallowed everything. Kevin fell to his knees. His time was almost up. By the next morning, day 7, Kevin had $4.3 million left. He sat with David, shaking his head. "I've done everything. I gave. I helped people. But this money no one finish." David said nothing for a while. Then he looked Kevin in the eye. "Then give it all to God." Kevin stared. "How?" "There's a children's home beside the old Catholic church. They are about to shut down. Go. Give them everything. Don't keep even one Nigerian naira." Kevin hesitated. Then stood up. He drove there alone. The building was old. The children were thin, quiet. The caretaker looked shocked when Kevin handed her a check. For everything, he said. Fix this place. Feed these kids. He turned and left. He didn't wait for thanks. As he walked out, the sky turned gray. Clouds gathered. The street went silent. He looked up. And there, at the end of the road, stood Bubba. Only this time, Bubba wasn't wearing red. He was wearing black. Kevin froze. Bubba walked slowly, dragging his feet. His eyes burned like coals. You shouldn't have done that, Bubba hissed. Kevin didn't run. He just stared. Then kill me, he whispered. Bubba raised his hand, and lightning flashed. But before it could strike, a loud thunder roared. A beam of light shot down from the sky. And Bubba screamed. Screamed so loud it shattered the windows of a nearby shop. Then, it disappeared. Just like that. Kevin dropped to the ground. Unalive. And the countdown in his head was gone. Chiboy, who used to throw money at girls like candy. Now, everything looked different. Not because the streets had changed, but because Kevin passed out. People were still in shock. Weeks passed and another news spread. On the front page of a tabloid was the headline, Popular Yahoo boy mysteriously found dead in hotel room. It was Chiboy. If you're hearing this story right now, remember this. There's no shortcut to success that doesn't cut your soul. The cars, the money, the girls, they may come fast, but so does the grave. Don't trade your peace for 7 days of fake glory. Don't exchange your future for a few photos and followers. What you chase will one day chase you back. Let Kevin's story be the alarm that wakes you up. Let survival be the sign you needed. And now, here's your moment. Choose life. Choose peace. Choose to grow slowly, honestly, and proudly. If you were moved by this story, don't just scroll past. Share this video with a friend. Drop a comment that says, I choose life. Let's break the cycle of Yahoo Plus and blood money, together. Let's build a generation that values truth over trends, and peace over pressure. Because one voice can save a life. And that voice might be yours.